What's up, everyone? Hello, hello. I apologize for my tardiness. StreamYards was like not connecting. Every time I clicked go live, it would like do the loading thing and then it would say like cannot connect. And it was really, really annoying. So I hope it goes through. I hope that there's no issues tonight. Fingers freaking crossed. But let's do a little recap of what we have seen so far. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Anna. I'm known mostly online as that Star Wars girl, but I'm also a professionally trained artist. And I've been working for a very long time. It feels like maybe it's a long time. Every time I think about it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting old." But it's, still going great. I have this little art channel, which, I try to work on the best I can, but, editing is, my arch nemesis, so, it is what it is, but at least you guys benefit from, me going live and doing, pretty much everything live. But what is up, everyone? I see people in the chat. I saw Holocron in here very early, Patrick T in here early. Comics legend, first one today. Hello, hello. We have Ocean, is it Ocean Nathan or Ocean Van? I'm not exactly sure how to say your name. We got Tim, you got Brash, you got all of you wonderful humans over on the Twitch. Yes, I am streaming on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch today. So hello to everyone. What I have been doing on this show is I have been doing a reaction to there's this show. Let me pull it up. I had everything pulled up. It's one of those days, guys. It feels like it's my Monday. Now I know I am a day late on this. I was I was supposed to do this yesterday, but this past weekend we celebrated my husband's birthday. And so we were out of town all weekend with his family up north in the mountains by Yosemite. And, I since it was his birthday weekend, I did all the driving, and I spent all day Sunday driving, and yesterday, which was Monday, I was a zombie and I slept all day. I woke up in the morning, got the baby ready, and then when she went down for her nap, I went down for a nap, and I was a total zombie all freaking day. So, I stayed in bed. I was tired. I was out all day. I just like I it amazes me my skills at sleeping. So I slept all day. I went to bed at probably noon yesterday and slept until what time did I wake up this morning? Like 7 a.m. So I was tired yesterday. So we're doing this show today. Now, this is episode 5 and I have done 5 of these live streams where I've been reacting to this show. So let me get it pulled up right now. Here we go. Let me share my screen and all of this fun stuff. So for those that don't know, this is an art channel. It's for this college called Milan Art Institute. It is owned by the Milans. That's their name. And they do this show. If you go over here to playlist on their channel, it's the show called The Outstanding Artist. Here's season 1. Here's season 2. Here is season 3. And now we are watching season 4. Now, they're doing it very differently. The episodes are like 40 minutes long. No one has gotten out yet. And they don't finish the challenges in a single episode, which, as you guys know, I'm very irritated by. And I guess finally stuff is going to happen in this 5th episode. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's watch.
I gave him a big, huge
Oh,
brush about this
so
wide.
fast. Okay. I do need to post that I'm live. There we go. So everybody knows. Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go. Let's tweet it out on the twatters. Let's post it on the Facebooks. Okay, I'm going to make this full screen. Who do you guys think is cheating? Okay. One momento. Also, I am chewing gum. I was told for the longest time I couldn't chew gum because I have veneers, but guess what? I have to chew the special type of gum that puts minerals back in my teeth. It's very annoying. But we're going to take it out because the stream is starting. All right, here we go. Oh, yes, this is Ellie Milan. She is the mother, the matriarch, and one of the main owners of this college.
Starting from where I was, like, I want to go home, to
This is my chance to score and crawl back up. I'm giving it my all.
Yeah, emotions are high today. There's a lot of stuff going on.
If there is something I cannot handle, is it not fair play?
You did your subtraction in a whole different way than we thought was allowed.
To be accused of cheating is so hurtful. I am not a cheater.
Previously on The Outstanding Artist,
Here we
the
go.
artists were pushed to their limits with a deceptively tough still life. Then they made their final adjustments to the cityscapes and abstract landscapes, all leading to a leaderboard reveal that seriously shook up the standings. Now, as elimination draws near, the artists must survive the monster portrait, explore pure abstraction, and finally confront the concerns that have been building in the studio. With the pressure mounting and every decision carrying more weight than ever, each of them is fighting to prove that they have what it takes to become.
Feels like a hair up kind of episode. Let's get into it. I see they're doing portraits this episode.
The Outstanding Artist.
Mm.
So, artists, are you ready to do your portrait?
Yes.
Okay. Your challenge begins in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so in the previous seasons, they like explain all of these challenges and all the rules and how the points are allotted. This, they didn't even explain that they're doing a portrait this episode. Like, I assume from that little intro, but like he's like, okay, you're painting a portrait. It's like, okay, what are the rules? Like, it drives me crazy.
Go.
The artists have 2 hours today, 2 hours tomorrow, and a bonus 6 hours of freestyle time to bring their monster portrait.
Let's see. How do you cheat on a painting? You can't like sneak Picasso in there or whatever. So that's a very good question, and it would have been, I think, more clear to the audience if they would have explained the rules better. So let's say your challenge is that you have to do this painting without any white paint, which would be incredibly difficult. Let's say you have to do this like this portrait. They're working on portraits, but you're not allowed to use white paint at all, and that could be like, to show your skill level and how you can get away with painting this I don't know, that they do more abstract realism, but how would you do this portrait without any white paint, right? And then you do the whole painting and then somebody like wins, but they cheated because they did use white paint. Like, so that's how you would cheat in an art test, or a lot of people like tracing. I don't see how they would have any opportunity to trace in this scenario, but like how they do the drawing, or you have to like hold something, like the last one, like they were holding fruit and they had to draw that. And if you like took a photo and then you traced it, that would be cheating. So from my understanding, in the last episode, they had to paint cityscapes and they had to do the subtraction method, which I'm like, oh, that's torture for these people. But so you basically have to do a wash. So like what this girl is doing right here, this is kind of a wash. So she has, and kind of, you can describe this as a type of wash drip. So it's where if you're painting with acrylics, you load your brush up with like water, and then you'd get like the tiniest little bit of the pigment and you'd put it on there. And that's how it creates this transparent, but it still has color. So it's basically just turning down the opacity, and you would brush that, and then you take like a rag and then you remove the sections that are supposed to be brighter. So like that would be, and that's what I'm assuming somebody was cheating at, is using a light box cheating. If the rule in this competition is that you can't use a light box, then yeah, if they have rules that say you can't do this and you do that, that is cheating. Like, for example, if your technique is that you do a drawing first, like you get like a pen, or you get charcoal, or you get a color pencil or a watercolor pencil, and you sketch out everything first, and that's your process. And they say in it, you're not allowed to do any drawing beforehand. You have to go straight in with paint, but you do the drawing anyway. That would be cheating. So, and that's why I think they need to explain the rules. Now, I never comment on videos, but I watch they do live streams after the episode comes out, and I watch this week's live stream. I don't remember any of the girls' names. I apologize to the girls on the show, But so they said like two of the girls' names. I'm like, I don't know who that is. You know, I have mental nicknames for all of them, but I don't know. I don't know what any of their names are. So I didn't pick up who was cheating, or maybe I'll figure it out now in this episode. But they basically said like they just did a different technique than everyone else did. So basically everyone followed the rules except for these 2 girls, and what the judges said was like, "Okay, well, we have a landscape painting class, and we have a cityscape painting class," and all of the girls that did it right followed the cityscape painting class versus the 2 girls that didn't do it right, they did the landscape painting class. So and I'm just like, "Well, technically, cityscape is still a landscape," you know? So I think they technically did follow the rules, but there's technicalities, which I wish they would outline the rules better. Like, my biggest advice, because I know, from what I gathered from that live stream, that's the recap of this, is Jake, the host of this show, he's kind of, like, figuring it out, and I think he says that next time they're gonna go back to the hour-long episodes, he needs to watch the show Face Off. It's a VFX makeup show that was around, a decade or 2 ago, and it's great. I love it. I cannot recommend that show enough. I believe it's on, like, either Prime or Netflix. You guys should go check it out if you guys haven't already. It's an amazing show if you wanna see people be creative, and what they have, it's like, okay, well, you guys are doing, like, monster makeup, and you have to do, like, but it has to be, like, a scarecrow. And then they'll come in, like, when you're halfway done, they're like, "Oh, and by the way, you have to add, like, lights to it, or it has to be waterproof, like, the models have to be able to swim in this." And it's a really fun show, I'd highly recommend it. It's called Face Off. It's not starring John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. It's a TV show. It is completely different than the movie. But so, to answer your long question, that is how you would be cheating if you didn't follow the rules. Also, hello, Steve, I see you.
Portraits to life, utilizing the 8 brushstroke technique. Let's have Ellie share how she created this scary, cool process.
The monster portrait is special. I actually came up with the technique myself. When I first started the school, I had a lot of watercolor artists, and all they did was photorealism watercolors. They didn't know how to just interpret form with big, broad brush strokes. I gave them a big, huge brush about this wide, and I told them they had to block in their portrait in 8 brush strokes. And from whatever they could do in 8 brush strokes, they had to subtract out the form from that. When you draw a perfect portrait and then you go to paint it in, you spend your whole painting feeling like you're losing.
Okay, so she just described, since they're doing a big monster portrait, she just described it. You have to use a big brush and you have to make 8 brush strokes and then you subtract from there. So there you go.
Something. With the monster portrait, it starts out hideous. It starts out a monster. You're turning it from a monster to a beauty.
As the monster portraits take shape, tension hangs heavy in the studio. The looming elimination is one thing, but last episode's results have left some of the artists unsettled. A few question whether Stephanie followed the rules during the Cityscape Challenge, a challenge she ultimately won.
Yeah, emotions are high today. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Everyone else covered their entire thing, like the subtractive method.
She didn't subtract it. Was already using opaques in a lesson where we could only glaze and subtract. We got taught a lesson, so follow the steps Ellie is doing. If you tell me to follow certain steps, then I do that in my project. If there is something I cannot handle, is it not fair play?
To ensure fairness, the production team and I will review.
Okay, so for those that don't know, opaques mean that, like, you put the paint down and you can't see through it. Now, I learned Photoshop very early on, and so when I think of opacity, I think of, like, going down in transparency, but the way that they refer to it, and a lot of other artists refer to it, it's like that is technically what it means, but in my head, like, I have to swap it. 'Cause I'm like, when I hear opaque, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you wanna turn down the opacity on something." But so, basically, it's like, you're not using transparent paint, you're using opaque paint, which means when you put down a brush stroke, you can't see through it, where there are paints that you can see through, and, if you use brands like Gamblin, they literally show you on the bottle if it's, opaque or if it's transparent. Let me actually grab you one and show you guys. My janky box of oil paints. Okay, so here we go. So this doesn't have it on it. Okay, some of them have it on it. Some of them don't. Or maybe it's just when you buy it. Sometimes they tell you. Okay, right here. So this is dioxide purple. And you see how it's white? That means it's I never use this paint, by the way, so I actually, off the top of my head, I don't know if that's if that means it's opaque or transparent. Let me see if there's one that I actually use quite often in here. Okay, okay. So that when it's a clear circle, it means it's like transparent. And then when it's all blacked out, that means it's opaque. So because I actually use this one a lot. So when I use radiant magenta, when I put down the paint, then guess what? Not going to be see-through, but when I use this, it is going to be transparent. And then there's some where it's like half and half. I don't, yeah, a lot of the ones that I use just must be, I don't know. But I use Gamblin. So Gamblin on their website, they have like a whole chart so you can go and look up in. So yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to the editing. This is an interesting wolf, I will say that.
The footage from the previous challenges and discuss it with the artists tomorrow. But for now, the focus is on the monster portrait. To succeed in this first painting session, the artists need to rely on bold, confident brushstrokes to block in the form, because everything that follows will be built on the foundation they lay right now.
I love painting portraits. It feels like you're capturing their story and their life. That's what I'm aiming to do, and hopefully it works out.
I really like being as bold as I could, leaving marks and bold brushstrokes, strong colors. It's my jam.
I paint people in most of my paintings. It feels like a lot of pressure to get a good portrait. We've seen how quickly things can change. I'm still trying to sort of stay in the top half. If you do one bad piece, then it can really sort of bring you down.
So far this season, every challenge,
I
including
knew
the
that was
monster portrait,
hers.
has been focused on testing
Oh my God,
our
that girl had a
artists'
makeup brush.
fundamental skills. For some, that means revisiting techniques they haven't used in years. But there's a reason the season began this way.
So the reason that we wanted to test all of these artists in terms of skills is so that we could move forward confidently with the top 6 artists that we knew had the best skill. We tried them in every subject matter, from a portrait to an animal to abstract, all kinds of drawing. If any of these artists had a hole in their skills, then it showed up in one of these challenges. And that's how it was designed. So now that the competition is moving forward, it's only a matter of time to see who actually makes it to the top.
Cue America's Next Top Model. Who's going to be on top?
Returning to the fundamentals isn't easy, especially for artists who've spent years building their own style. But leaning into these tests of skill is often when the biggest breakthroughs happen.
I think some of them.
Also, I want to give you guys some advice. The prettier the person is, the harder they are to paint. And to be honest with you guys, the less interesting it is. The Scottish girl that's painting the old man. Old guys with really thick beards, they're so much easier and they are so much fun. They're so much character. But it's like, you know how when you go into like an art museum and you see all these paintings, and I mean, when you look at certain genres of art, or I should say time periods of art, the women kind of look a little strange at times. Well, there's one or two things. One, the woman wasn't that attractive, but the artist did not want to get fired and wanted to continue working, so he idealized her and played up her features so she would look prettier than she actually was. Or 2, she was pretty, and the more symmetrical, like, perfect a person is, it just doesn't transfer over well to painting. I know it's the weirdest thing. I would tell everyone that, you know, because when I was doing my eye project and they're like, "Oh, my eye doesn't look good without makeup." Trust me, the worse you look in person, the better you will look like in a painting. Like if you go and look at Rembrandt's, you know, they're all a lot of his best ones, they're older like men either in their armor or you know, they're just classic portraits, but they're so interesting to look at because there's more character there. So like this I think like I love the colors. This is going to be extremely difficult because it's a very pretty woman and you're doing straight on, so everything has to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, it's gonna stand out like a sore thumb, but the Scottish girl is painting an old hairy man, and she's gonna have the best time, that's gonna be so much fun. So that's just one thing, you know, I would like to add my 2 cents on. Russell, thank you for 2 super chats in a row. If they're inappropriate, I'm not going to read them. This is my art channel, not my regular YouTube channel. So I have a different rules over here. So Henry Cavill would be a boring subject. I would not be bored. Russell Hall, thank you for the 2. You'd rather pay Adam Driver Nate? Oh God, no. No. Listen, I had done enough freaking nude painting and nude drawing classes in college. I don't ever want to do it again. I'm sorry. The human body does not interest me in that way unless your name is Peaches.
Feel constrained because some of our contestants have been graduates for a long time and they paint a very specific way.
Coming back to the basic for some of those artists is like super weird because they had their style for so long. When you really enjoy your process so much, it's hard to let it go. In my personal process, I barely ever get a painting start to finish in oil. So for the monster portrait, I really have to remind myself, this isn't the same way I paint at home. I can't do the same steps. I really have to think of how do I approach this as an only oil painting and make adjustments from there. If we go back to the basic, I think it's really important to learn them so you can deconstruct things after if you want to. Like if you want to break some rules, you have to learn the rule first. And even though you break some rules here and there, it doesn't really matter because you have those
Like,
fundamentals that
look
are
at
super important.
look already how interesting this is. Like it's when you get me and Sav when we were in college, there was this model named Bob, and he looked like that. He was so majestic. He just sat there. He had like long hair and a ponytail. He had this big old beard. He was the most fun, interesting person to draw. Is my eye still looking? Yes, it's driving me crazy. I think I'm just gonna have to suck it up and go see a doctor. But that I know that they're just gonna be like, well, let's just take it out. And I'm like, no, I only have one tear duct left. I want to keep it.
And that will elevate your painting.
In the mastery program and in these challenges, growth comes through intentional skill building. By stretching beyond your comfort zone and learning to work in every medium, artists develop both mastery and resilience. A solid understanding of the fundamentals is what allows an artist to push those boundaries with confidence when exploring their voice. Even though these artists haven't really been able to show off their own style yet, a few have found themselves enjoying mediums they haven't touched since the mastery program.
We did a few pieces in acrylics from start to finish, which I never ever before have done. Like I'm curious about how far can I come in just acrylics if I would practice that more.
It was so good just to revisit all these old lessons. It had been years since I've done the subtractive technique, and I would have never, ever thought of revisiting that. Ever, because the subtractive technique did not resonate with me when I was taking the course.
Lynn seems reinvigorated by this latest challenge.
Oh, looks
I can
pretty.
see it in the way she's working. It's almost as if she's rediscovered her passion for creating.
I've grown in so many different directions in this very short amount of time. I really feel like I've changed my trajectory, changed my thought, changed my mood, changed my passion. Like I feel way more passionate. Like I don't know if that would get any better than that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brushes down.
As the first phase of the Monster Portrait Challenge comes to a close, many of these paintings may still look rough, but that's exactly where they should be. This stage of the process is designed to look chaotic as the artists lay the foundation for a successful painting later. Bianca's painting is a great example. While some of the proportions are still being worked out, her bold color palette already gives the piece awesome energy, direction, and attitude. With refinement, this piece could become a real standout. Ellis's portrait leans even further into the monster side of the process, with proportions that feel dramatically off.
Oh,
But
hers
this
is an
early on,
AI
that's
image.
totally normal. This piece has all the potential needed to undergo one of the most striking transformations in the room. Meanwhile, Jodie appears to be slightly ahead of the curve. You can already see her beginning to move beyond the monster phase and into refinement, with emerging details that help us imagine where the painting is headed once it's fully resolved. Now, to help guide the artist forward, Ellie's going to return with some thoughtful feedback, helping each artist refine their work and turn their monster into something beautiful.
So many of them are using AI, like portraits.
I think the main thing that I see is that the center axis of the face is straight on and she's actually tilted. The center axis kind of goes at an angle, which would put the mouth a bit over, the eyes slightly tilted up, and the angle of this side of the face more pronounced. This artist is off to a really fabulous start. Your mouth is going to start here and end right at about here. You might want to check on the proportion of how wide the eyes are. The proportions on this one are the best so far of what we've looked at. The cheek ever so slightly tilts a little more this way. The nose is a little bit too long, but I don't think it's where the base is and where the top is. I think it's this ball. Really pay attention to that line. Like if you push your nose up and you see where that line is, basically where the bones start and that fleshy part of the ball, the nose ends, that's what gives you a long nose. I love the choice that the artist made with a predominantly red, pink, and violet sort of skin tone. It is a little in the monster stage. The lower lid needs to come down. I feel like this side of the cheek, it does need to come in a little bit. So you want to decide what is correct in your length. Maybe it's the height of this eye. So I would measure from here to here and compare how many of those is in this. The source, it looks like a source they made in Midjourney where it already looks like a painting and it's not an actual photograph. But I would love to see this artist invent their own brushstrokes, be expressive, and really show us that you can move beyond the source in interpreting the form. This is exactly why we call this technique the monster portrait. She does look kind of like a monster, and the reason is this eye is out of proportion and the mouth is just not fat enough. So I would recheck that. Again, the nose is too low, that ball comes up higher, which will give you room to make your mouth wider. The source is not great, but somehow you've managed in your painting to fix some of the issues in the source. What it looks like is that there's a different head or face attached to a different body. Because your source is weird, you're really going to have to feel your way. I really love Midjourney. I do. But what I don't like about it for artists, especially when we're measuring skill, is when the source already has all the painting figured out. If I personally don't see an interpretation of the form that is different than the source, I will feel like you don't know how to interpret form and you use this as a crutch. I feel like if you really lean into the things that you're doing already with the scratching and the mark making, but it still looks representational, this could go well for you. Overall, the head and face feel too long. It should line up at the nostril and it's lining up at the tip of the nose. And I would double check the width of here to here. It feels like this eye has to move over, but she's not wide enough here to the length. I think overall, this is really pretty good and going in the right direction, as long as it looks representational and, let's say, realistic. And some of the ways that yours is off from the source actually looks better. It's a beautiful source, but it's a funky source. You have to take that into consideration, and you're going to have to invent a few things. I think proportionally, this is pretty good. I think the head got a little thick here, and the mushrooms sort of growing and flinging out of the shoulder is distracting to me. This is a giant area of flesh tone with not a ton of form. So I think you have to like use your x-ray vision and see what anatomy you can pull out from there. I think you did a good job on the tilt of the head, but the mouth is off. There's a lot more chin. The mouth has to come up. It does feel weighted. So to lift it, cut in on the hair, blur the edges of where the hair meets the background, and figure out how you can get this lifted up and not feel so heavy and droopy. Well, I think overall you guys did really great. I know these are very difficult
What are the paintings
circumstances
behind
to
them? It's like
paint
a bunch of
portrait
abstract.
when you would normally spend maybe 15, 20, 30 hours on a painting, and boom, you got to do it in 6, 8 hours. You guys are all really great artists and you have your own voice. Don't be afraid to let that show. And I feel fully confident that in the end, we're going to have some really good looking portraits.
Okay.
Ellie's feedback gives the artist clarity and momentum.
We need to find out
After,
cheating.
you shared concerns with me.
Okay.
They're unsure if Stephanie followed the strict subtractive process during the portrait challenge, echoing the same worries from the Cityscape challenge. While we investigate these claims with our judges, the show must continue on. The artists now take on a new challenge, creating an abstract without any source to guide them. In this challenge, the artists are about to undertake what is one of the most difficult subjects, and that is a painting without a subject. They are going to be creating a non-objective abstract in just 2 hours with mixed media materials, so they can use whatever they want minus oil paint. Okay, artists, are you ready? Yes. Okay, let's get abstract. Your challenge begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is gonna be fun to watch.
A good quality abstract is probably the most difficult thing to pull off as an artist. It's all about the elements of art. You have to have a solid color story, at least 5 fields of depth. It needs to be dynamic and a really good composition. There's so many things, and you don't have an image to seduce your audience with. You just have the elements of art to win the audience over.
Oh, she was using a heat gun. That's nice.
It's hard to prepare for an abstract. I don't make sources usually for abstracts. I make like vision boards. I'll like kind of comb through textures, color stories. I'll look for things that look good for me. And then I just start and I see where it goes. And then I look at my boards and I say, okay, where can I add that pattern? Where does that look good? It's very intuitive, which so far hasn't gone well for me in this game.
Linda's not the only one feeling the pressure. She and 5 others sit below the top 6. If they want a chance to stay in the competition, they'll need strong scores in these final
Did he
challenges.
call her Lynn?
Otherwise,
Her name's
they'll be
Linda.
going home at the end of the next episode. But with an abstract challenge this demanding, this is exactly the kind of moment that can shake up the standings.
I prefer the freedom of not having a source and just, you know, like champagne bubbles. The ideas bubble in my head. Then I look at it, it needs this, or oh, now it needs that. That's the way how I create my paintings. And that's difficult if you are on a time limit. You cannot wait for the bubbles to come because you have to do it now. So that's challenging for me.
I'm not good at relaxing, which is probably why I'm not really good at abstracts, to be honest. I went and watched 7 hours of lecture on abstract because my abstract landscape was so rough. I wanted to really try. I decided to take Ellie's method of the viewfinder, where you make a mess and then you cut out a piece. So I took an hour to do that, which was a risk. Everyone was like, you just have to let loose and like relax, but it's kind of hard when you're under a 2-hour time limit. It's better than what my abstract landscape was, I feel like.
One very foolproof way of being able to pull off an abstract, especially if you're not used to doing abstracts, is you make a big mess on a random piece of paper or a canvas, and you just throw down some paint and you don't really care what's happening as long as you kind of use enough contrast and colors. Now, that piece of paper is going to look like a mess. It won't look good. But you could take a viewfinder out and sort of go over the mess of a canvas that you just created until you see an abstract. And that's really where the art comes in, is your eye, the artist eye, recognizing what is a good abstract. Once that happens, then the artist can just rip it down to that size and basically use that as a reference to create the larger abstract. It's sort of like making a study.
For the past hour, the artists have been creating purely from their imagination.
I just got like a wave of tiredness. Oh, I guess I'm not recovered still from the long drive, but okay. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It's because I've been watching this at regular speed. Usually I have it at like 1.25, just a little faster. I kind of like this one, and I like this one from the distance.
That kind of freedom can be scary, but also really rewarding.
They're gonna make us
hold on. Why do they love creating?
They're gonna make us wait until the end to address the cheating scandal, aren't they?
Art so much.
With art is such a personal thing that really comes from your soul. You really enjoy the process. It's all about loving the creative energy and being able to create something beautiful on canvas. It's so fulfilling.
I think having fun and being in the moment, it lets me forget about anything else that's happened, and I get to just be here. And being present is a huge healing thing for yourself. I love getting lost in my right brain because of that. It lets me get everything I want to say out there.
It really is only to do with the fact that I want to prove to myself and to everybody that's been negative in my life that art can be a career if you really want it to be. I want to show who I am, and I feel like I could really do that.
I just love the creative lifestyle, and I love sharing my art. I love seeing the look on people's faces when they see my art and connecting with people. Like, I need to be doing this. Sharing your art is important.
I just never wanted anything that was just really basic. I just wanted something a wee bit more
You would do.
fantastical, and I knew that it existed.
Oh, Canvas of Red.
Kind of imagining things, recreating things, and I like that. We're only here for a short time. We may as well make it fun.
She's such a character.
Whether you create for the pure joy of making something beautiful, to heal from some past trauma, or to reveal the truest parts of yourself, the reasons we make art are as unique as our fingerprints. And that's exactly why making art matters. Now, with just 30 minutes left on the clock, let's witness how our artists transform their inspiration into color, form, and story on the canvas.
Tell me about your process.
I'm trying to create as many layers as I possibly can and trying to figure out my color story. Any ideas?
It's tough to say in this stage. You're creating an atmospheric background and you're setting yourself up to add foreground objects.
Mm-hmm.
When I squint my eyes, my eye wants to go down there, but it's because of the mark, right? That's the most foreground kind of object. Is it hard to rush an abstract?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you get back to it.
Okay, thanks.
Tell me about your process.
I've done quite a few different things. I've done collage, texture, powders, spray paint, and I'm only starting with paint now.
I feel like you might win the award for most materials used.
In the shortest amount of time. But what do you think?
My concern would be you have a bit of a yin and yang vibe going on between green and pink, so I would choose one. I think it's really cool though. You have so much going on in there. Yeah. My only concern would be like having some resting space, but yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Thank you very much.
It's okay. It's not my favorite from what I've seen. Oh, that one's kind of.
So, do you feel more confident with abstracts? Typically?
No. I always work from source, but I decided just
I
to
like
have
it.
fun because I think if I have a source with
It looks
abstract,
really
it's
nice.
too much in my left brain, I think. So without a source is better, I think. There's a lot of cool visual texture and marks. So it's a good base. I don't think I'm going to finish today, but
yeah,
I think it's going to be a good start. We'll see at the end if that's actually the case.
Okay, I'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's probably my least favorite one.
Process.
In abstract, I think it's important to understand what shapes you're going for. This one, I went for like diamond shape and triangles. It's not very feminine abstract, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It is pretty distinct.
It is. So I might go for it. Like this shape is bothering me for now. It's like a little messy. This was an accident, and I'm like, I thought
Easter
it was
egg
a
sugar?
gloss gel, and I put the white on it. So
Oh.
like,
Kind of like it though.
Okay, well, yes.
If it's too much of all the same blocks, like that helps break it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's subtle. I don't know. It's an interesting piece.
Okay.
So.
With under 5 minutes left, the true difficulty of this challenge sets in for the artists. A great abstract needs time for contemplation so that it can evolve. But that's the one thing they don't have. With only hours before elimination, how much of their freestyle time are they willing to spend on their abstracts?
Hmm.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brushes down.
Challenge 8 was definitely a demanding exercise, but it was one that brought out pretty incredible creativity from our artists. That being said, creativity alone does not equal success in this competition. If they want to make it through to the second half of the season, they'll need to demonstrate their mastery of the elements of art. Looking around the room, Rita's piece stands out with its geometric structure. Her color palette and shapes and line work is excellent, but the composition still needs some work. More variety of scale and stronger focal point could really elevate this piece. Bree's painting faces a similar challenge with its focal point. The color story is strong, but there aren't any shapes or lines to really pull you in. The piece is starting to have some depth, but it really needs more intentional layers for the composition to come to life. Ellie B's work, on the other hand, may have too strong a focal point,
That's
concentrated in
interesting.
the detailed forms of the center band. The eye settles there and doesn't really travel enough across the canvas. Developing the upper and lower sections with more
straight
texture
across the
or subtle
canvas.
value shifts could encourage a more dynamic visual journey. Now, Alana and Tanya are going to join the artists to deliver more in-depth feedback on their non-
Okay, it kind of sounded when he was talking about that, like he put the image into AI and asked him to tell it what it thought of it. Did you guys get that? Like what he was just saying about it? I'm like, this sounds like an AI prompt that he just read. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it sounded AI to me.
objective abstracts.
I feel like the color story is not quite there. The dominant color now is green, but it's not as dominant, so maybe just adding more of that would help. I also feel like there's a lot of small patterns, thin lines, stuff like that. So I would try to get more large brush strokes to get some more level of depth in.
It does feel like it's like just on top of one layer. So I think it would give it a lot more sophistication if there was like a glaze of this green gold color over the top so it's transparent. There could be more contrast, like lighter colors. Overall, I feel like it could be a bit richer in color.
I'm noticing also, be careful about those tangent edge, like those shades that are really close to the edges.
My eye does directly go like to this middle shape. So I'm wondering if that can be sort of moving through somehow more into that direction, just so it's not like such a shape in the middle.
There's also some letters here that I feel like they're all the same size. So maybe you can go ahead, paint some of them like bigger to have more variety of size as well. Those black lines, like I would love to see some overlapping over this stuff. So it's just about, I think, getting more layers in for that one and just refining the focal point more. I think some glazing would help.
Wow, that's cheating. What's cheating, Patrick? Did I miss something? Oh, you mean when he I get it. No, I could be wrong. He could have written that himself, but from what it sounded like he put the image into like Grok and said, "Can you evaluate this painting in 3 sentences or less?" Like that's what it sounded to me. But I could be wrong. He could have written that himself.
To darken some area, push them back. But yeah, I love what's going on.
It's like very soft right now and it does need like more stronger shapes, like more variety of shape. When I work on abstracts, I like to sort of work around like inner threes to kind of bring a balance. I feel like they could be really bold and do some thick paint over the top and
Yeah, don't be afraid to add more.
Glaze, let it dry, come in with thicker paint, scratch through it. I feel like the color story needs to be toned.
Okay. I love this. This is the prettiest one. I feel like it just needs like little fairies. Like remember in Fantasia when they're just glowing in the beginning?
Down and there needs to be some more sort of tasteful neutrals in there to balance it out.
I would try to get like some softer area, really like lightening some of these to you know, just get rid of like the canvas color in some part. You have those beautiful dots. You can always add more. And I think it would be great to have that in the focal point. And again, contrast. I feel like you have this patterns, but nothing is really in repetition. So again, I would get that in. I'm not sure about the big swirl. For now, it's kind of distracting.
A lot more boldness with covering up some of that. And also with the color of the teal, I feel like you could like play with that a little more, like even glazing it back with a darker tone that's similar, or even going lighter just to play it up a little more and like have more variety of that color.
I do feel like the background, the widest part, need more variation, maybe like some really thick brush stroke.
I think it would be cool to see like some sort of connecting lines or something connecting those shapes. So as your eye is going across the canvas.
Those lines in the focal point area, I feel like it's only there. I think that would be really cool to have that in other parts as well. I would love to see some thicker paint for sure, especially like if you're planning to keep most of the alcohol ink. Some overlapping would be great too.
Color needs to extend off the canvas because it does feel a little bit odd the way it's cut off at the top there.
Don't be afraid to just.
My thing is, it's like they have to critique things, you know, because that's their job. But I'm like, this one and the purple one that I said, like that was 1, 2, 3 paintings ago. They're perfect. Like I love them. I love them both. This is why like art is completely subjective. I even like this. I mean, all 4 of these ones that they just critiqued are really good. I think I like the purpley one and then this one the best. But I mean, that one looks good. I feel like all of these you could see on like office walls somewhere, you know?
Go back in with some acrylic glaze. I think that would just give it more richness. I would just make sure that the splashes, there's some in other parts. I think it would really be nice to have some thick texture in the foreground. It's just about, I think, creating more depth with that one.
I feel like they want to be more deliberate with the complementary and have it sort of coming off the canvas even a little bit so it's not just in one space.
Creating an abstract, you have to enjoy like the messy part of it. And it's in a messy stage, but that's not a bad thing. I would think about softening some area. You don't want everything to be crisp on the same level.
It feels like it needs some resting space.
Maybe more neutrals.
Yeah.
Toning down the pink in some part also would be great.
I think glazing really helps when it's not feeling connected, just to unify it a little more. I feel like you can keep adding, and definitely like with some sort of more detail or finer lines or scribbles or something connecting everything.
I would make sure to glaze the gold leaf a little, especially in the darker area. I feel like it needs to be richer, be integrated more.
It's all about the layers with abstracts.
Yeah, don't be afraid to go back and forth, like subtracting, adding more, subtracting.
I feel like with abstracts, you need to get messy first and then start to put things back. Otherwise, it feels like it's on top of the canvas. I feel like it needs some thinner paint. It could have, you know, a sort of a glaze over this area so that you don't cover anything, but like you still have another layer of depth in there.
The pink and the blue are there in equal parts. You need to watch out for that so your color story is really tasteful and beautiful.
Even if you flip the canvas on the side and flip it again, like while you're working, you could start to see different things to do because the composition doesn't feel resolved at the moment.
I would push that back with some glazing personally, just to create more depth in it.
And I think by going even deeper with the darks will really like then draw your eye up. And then you could even like pop some more of the red over that and it's going to stand out.
I feel like this zone is really cool with the palette knife and you could really push the envelope with that. Okay guys, so I think you all did a really good job in 2 hours. I know it's hard to create an abstract, but I think you all can pull it off.
It really takes a gut feeling with abstract. I feel like you have to be really in your right brain, have a loose plan, but just have fun. If you overthink it with abstracts, it can get a little stiff. If you're feeling like you're overthinking it, like just try to have fun because that's when the best abstracts will come out and you'll be more intuitive.
With critiques now complete, the artists rest overnight and prepare to return to their oil paintings in the morning. But before we continue, there's an important conversation that needs to take place. Questions have resurfaced about whether Stephanie followed the same process as the other competitors. These concerns first came up during the Cityscape Challenge and have now returned in the Portrait Challenge. After reviewing the footage from both rounds, the production team and I have decided it's time to bring everyone together. Before we continue with the monster portraits, we're clearing the air.
Okay, so family discussion. Stephanie wants to address everyone about yesterday.
It's come to my attention that there have been some serious accusations against me and concerns about my process. And so I wanted to have a discussion as an open forum and create a space to talk about it.
I mean, I'll talk to you because I talked to you about your city. Because on your city, you did use opaques on the subtraction day. You had the lime green under the hole.
On subtraction day?
Yeah. And so the concern with the portrait, from what I heard, was they thought you were using the same lime green. Because I think all you were doing is you did your subtraction in a whole different way than we thought was allowed. No, and I'm not like,
Yeah, I
can I just come here and talk to you like this? Because I know like this is super awkward for you.
it's okay. No, we're good.
I don't want to stand in front of you, sorry. But
This
I
is
do think that's what happened is because there was like a lime green that you used on the city.
The lime green was the blocking in the day before.
Oh, you had lime green on your palette though.
I didn't clean my palette from the day before.
I think that's where it came from because under your street light there was like lime green and you had the vivid on your palette. So we were like, is the same thing happening again?
So you can, so you can absolutely review the footage and you can see that I put the lime green in on the day that we blocked in the city. I did the subtraction process. I added everything over the buildings and I used dark green over the lime green that day to subtract out grass.
This is so
Well, the
awkward.
concern I had with the city was that it felt to me that you and some other people were not like putting the glaze on the whole canvas, which is part of the assignment. That like made me a little bit, how do you say, a little bit frustrated because it like saves a lot of time. If you just have sky half of the canvas, it saves you like an hour. To me, that was not fair, and I told Jake. So that's the only thing I had to say. I didn't know anything about portrait stuff.
The area that was glowing, I actually put another layer over it and subtracted. So like the letters, I subtracted those out and I subtracted out the yellow part. I put yellow down and then I put, when I went to do the subtraction, I put like more yellow over it. I did not use a dark color.
No, I
never-
was pointing out the dark glaze we need to use.
But they didn't, with that specific day, no specific rules were said like what color your glazes had to be and how much
Well, I
you
think
had
there
to-
are rules because we are following the lesson. This is a skill thing that is taught in the master program. We show off the lessons which are in the program. So to me, that's just the rules you need to follow. I think that's clear, but
I think we just all rules.
This is so awkward. Oh my god, I thought that this would be like a juicy drama, but this is uncomfortable.
Followers here and a lot of us are coaches here, so we've watched and rewatched that lesson so many times. None of us just even thought about deviating from the technique. That's why nobody's attacking you, Stephanie. It's just more of like we all were like struggling with things and seeing that it could be done another way put us in this frustration mode. There's nothing against you.
I said to somebody on the very first day, I actually don't want to win. I actually
Oh,
I want the money to go to somebody whose life it will change. I want the victory to go to somebody whose life will change. It will not be life changing for me. And that is not me. There is not a deceptive bone in my body. And to be accused of cheating is so hurtful. I feel ashamed that even anybody can think that about me. I am not a cheater. I am not.
oh, this is awkward. For those that don't know, before she became an artist, she was a doctor, like a medical doctor, and she retired and closed her practice so she could become a full-time painter. So that is actually nice that she says that like it won't like $25,000 won't change her life, but it could change someone in this room's life because she's set for life.
I wasn't going to cry.
It's so awkward.
Nobody said
We
that
love
you
you.
were cheating. We
Well,
love you, and
that's the word.
nobody ever
That's
said
the word
that.
that got back to me.
You
is
need to
that
know
is-
that when this discussion happened at our house, at least, we were like, she's so lovely and we love her and we don't know what to do about this. We're not sitting here thinking you're an awful person at all. For real.
The amount of times it's been said Stephanie's so freaking nice and we've nothing against Stephanie. We don't.
And
We
we're
don't.
like,
we love
what?
you bits,
Yeah.
right? So no more tears about that, right? Genuinely, we love you bits. And don't doubt that. Please don't doubt
Well,
it.
and
I'd be sad about that.
I am very happy to start over.
I don't want you to start over. I'm happy to continue in mine.
Nobody said you couldn't use a brush to subtract, and I will.
I use a brush to subtract. I just used a big brush, but I don't know. Like
They just said, no, don't little brush
I
paint
was
it.
scratching in to subtract.
to
But that's-
paint, but not to subtract. So like I subtracted the details with the eye with the little brush. And I'm I'm happy to sit here in front of you and do it exactly, and I will show you. It will come out exactly like that.
This is so awkward.
I think it's my turn to talk. Thank you guys all, first of all, for having this discussion openly. I feel like this is like definitely the healthiest way, and kudos to you for wanting to make it open. I definitely don't think anyone like questioned your integrity as an individual. For me, when it was brought to me, like the thought that came to my mind was like, there's no way that like you intentionally cheated or anything like that. I was on the camera when I saw you drawing in.
And you
that's
said it,
what
and
I said.
I was like, oh shit.
I was like,
Sorry.
do not, no, it's okay.
So
I was like, you're not allowed to draw in. And then I saw you wipe it out and then start again. So I think it's totally fine. Is everybody okay with that decision?
I think it's a good lesson for the upcoming things. Well, maybe not for me or for everybody, but at least
Have
have
extreme clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will take full ownership for not having it be as clear as it should have been. We just want everyone to have a level playing field. And that's the main reason of like, follow this specific technique. We're trying to make it as objective as possible. We're all arriving together at like what even.
This is a full-on struggle session. This is so uncomfortable to watch. Oh my gosh. They should have addressed the whole cityscape, because it's like if they got footage the whole time of her painting and just looking at the process, because from this is why I will go back. Season 2 was the best one. They were so clear on what you can do, and everyone asked questions like, "Can we do this? Can we do that? Is this a lot?" Like, and then I watched the after show of this, and again, I still for I know it's 5 episodes, I cannot remember any of their names. Like, it's Scottish chick, it's the ginger doctor lady, like, I can't remember any of them. The girl that paints mushrooms all the time. I don't remember their names, but they were talking about how it's not just her, there's another girl that, like, they didn't do the process the way that they were supposed to. But like, if they say, "These are the steps you have to do," if you have to put a wash over the entire canvas and then take a rag and erase it out, that should show up on camera. Uh,
And is the right criteria to discuss what is an outstanding artist. And you guys are all a part of helping shape that. So thank you guys. And time for hugs. Let's do a group hug.
oh, this is so awkward.
No, I'm in the
Everyone
middle.
bring it
Stephanie needs to be in the middle.
Don't cry, Stephanie. Don't cry.
You guys all just made her feel like shit. Of course she's gonna cry. You all accused her of
The air in the
cheating.
studio definitely feels lighter. Now, with all concerns settled, the artists turn their
They need name tags. They literally have all of their names on their aprons. It's like sewn, it's embroidered in, and I still don't remember their names. I know their traits. Like, I could describe each one of them to you and you would know who I'm talking about.
focus back to the canvases.
Oh my god. Ah, the crying. I don't like it when people cry around me. It's so
You guys
uncomfortable.
have 2 hours in this next stage of your portrait challenge. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Okay, your challenge begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
As we return to Challenge 7, the monster portrait, the artists have just 2 hours left to turn what was once raw and rough into something truly beautiful. Guided by Ellie's earlier feedback, each of them is making deliberate choices as they push towards the finish line. After today, only one more challenge and a bit of freestyle time remains before the final round of judging, where half of the contestants will be eliminated. Every artist here has the same goal.
I better be in this episode. I better see that in this episode of watch, it's gonna cut off. Why? No, we still got some time. No, it's not gonna do it. It's not gonna judge it in this episode. Oh my god, this is so frustrating.
Make it to the second half of the competition, where their true artistic voice can finally take center stage. But the challenges so far haven't just tested technique. They've pushed each artist back to the foundation of their craft, the fundamentals they built inside the mastery program, where they first discovered what they're truly capable of creating. That's where skill becomes confidence, voice begins to take shape, and where artists learn not only how to create powerful work, but how to actually build a life around doing what they love.
The master program changed everything for me because I never thought that it was possible to make a living off of being an artist. I thought it was just for fun, you know? And now I just can't imagine not being an artist because it's so important.
My life has been so chaotic for so long. And then I found Milan Art and I literally signed up that day. I just went ahead in like 12 to 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. And I feel like since that moment, I started feeling alive again.
I just remember in the first few lessons of thinking immediately, this is exactly what I want to do. To be like motivated to think that you can do it was like a huge changing point for me. I like to tell a lot of people now, like if you really have like a passion or a dream, that you should definitely go for it.
I believe that anyone can learn to draw or paint. It's a
Long
skill,
Beach.
like anything else.
She's like my
The
neighbor.
correlation is there when it comes to hard work and then what comes out of it. And you think, oh, okay, that was worth the effort because it got me to here. So if I put in more effort, it's going to get me to here. You keep climbing that ladder, even if it's just a little bit at a time. That gets me. I like that.
I think anyone who takes the program is going to experience a transformation of some kind. And I've seen it in our community with people of all sorts of skill levels. I've seen professional artists come in with a degree and be completely blown away in the first 4 weeks of lessons.
I would like to encourage all the artists or potential artists that are a little bit older, like me. I'm 16.
Now this is becoming an ad for their college. That's the only like little gripe I do have with some of their content is like sometimes I'm like, okay, this is just a sales pitch. This is just an ad, but I'm like, I am watching their college's YouTube channel, so I guess I should just expect that. But I'm like, I don't know. There's this one great girl. Fuck, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's like she's young. She's super super young. I think she's like maybe 24, and she's like a multimillionaire because she's so good at sales. And she's like, the best sale is, they're not supposed to be able to know that you're selling to them. So I feel like they should watch her. This whole show is a giant ad. It is a little bit, right?
2 years old. If you're doubting yourself because you're thinking, I'm already 50 or 60 or maybe even older, it doesn't matter. You can make beautiful art and make an impact in the world. Go for it. Believe in yourself. You can do it too.
With just over an hour left in the challenge, the artists are moving their monster portraits towards completion. After struggling with self-doubt in nearly every challenge so far,
She took her hat off.
Lynn has really found her stride. Her energy and focus are renewed, and the portrait she's creating reflects her newfound confidence.
With this last challenge, I could really relate to everything that we were doing. Like, I loved the subject matter, the portraits, and it was good. I loved it. I had so much fun. Starting from where I was, like, I want to go home.
Well, she's been saying from the beginning that she likes doing portraits the best. So this is like her element.
10. Yes. I'm so grateful for like all the support that you gave me when I was like ready to crack. And then the support in the house, the girls are just amazing. Like, I couldn't ask for a better group of women to stay with.
I'm so glad Lynn didn't go home because she and I had like so many like great moments, and I was able to get to know her so much more in the last week and a half.
When you're around people that are going through the same things and have the same passions, it really drives motivation. Everybody like lifts each other up.
I've seen what it's like being at the lowest you can and then rising up, and I want to help others do that same thing.
The thing I love the most is when we're all together creating the art. It's such a great vibe. Everybody creating, and you feel the electricity and the creativity. I love that.
With only half an hour left, we're getting close to the end of this challenge. Let's check in and see how or if the artists are applying Ellie's feedback on their portraits.
Are you following the suggestions?
Yeah, for sure. I took her advice, and I'm still in the bold brushstrokes stage. As you
Yeah.
can see, the only thing I have to pay attention to is that I don't use too much paint. I don't want things to turn muddy.
So you'll definitely have to use some of the time coming up.
Does this art school cost $250K? I mean, you can go look at their program and see how much it costs. I actually don't know.
In the freestyle time.
Yeah. I'm really doing everything I can for this portrait because that's one of the things I like to do most. So this is my chance to score and crawl back up a bit. So I'm giving it my all.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me about adjustments.
I knew I had to make adjustments, and that's kind of the way I work. Speed painting is not something that's part of my voice, and I'm very okay with that. So I made my proportional adjustments, and now I'm just blocking in the larger strokes and building up to the smaller ones, and I have plans, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
You would buy that one? Cool.
Did you decide to follow the critique?
Well, until Ellie said it, I did not even recognize that I had moved her down. I honestly don't know why that happened. Something when I was measuring. Yeah, that was her main suggestion, was the composition. So not much I can do, other than just try to focus, like she said, on this area and do something with the sky there.
Do you know the subject, or
Do you think I know the subject? Does she look familiar to you?
is she your daughter?
She's my daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's my kid.
That's so awesome that you decided to paint her.
Yeah, she's a cutie, isn't she?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Aww.
I think you win the award for Tweakments.
Tweakments, yes.
Because of the double eyes, it's so striking.
Yep, I made her lips bigger, raised her nose a little bit, and then because my cheekbones were exactly in the right space, I decided to move her eyes down.
It's a really difficult skill to be able to just paint what should be there and ignore what is there.
What is there?
But you kind of nailed it. Demetra says that to me all the time. Paint what should be there
Right.
and ignore what is. It's much easier said than done. But
Yes. But this eye needed to shift this way a little bit, like Ellie said. They needed to be closer together.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That one's so little. Look at the little. I have rollers, but not that little.
Well,
No, because the shirt got really muddy because I was trying to fix it, but I have to leave it to dry because it's super muddy. Other suggestions were to completely change the source. I don't have time for that. It's funny because when I chose this, her hair was supposed to be pink. She like went through so many transformations. I think this is not the best choice for this challenge, but I'm trying to make the best out of it.
All right, thank you. All right, artists, you have 10 seconds left. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brushes down.
And just like that, only one challenge remains before our artists face elimination. Next time on The Outside Artist, the artists face their final challenge, a test of precision as they attempt a hyper-detailed
What? Oh my god.
drawing of the human eye.
Oh, yes. Hyperrealism. I like that.
But excitement quickly gives way to nerves as the final judging looms and the threat of elimination becomes real.
The person that goes in 7th place, I think it extra sucks.
9 relentless challenges have tested their skill, creativity, and endurance, and now the competition has reached its turning point.
I can't believe for half of you it's about to come to an end.
Join us next time to see which artists move forward and which will be forced to pack their brushes.
Oh, no. Back.
It's Tarsi time, baby.
Pause. Okay, thank you. Wrong video. Okay. How funny is that?
I gave him a big, huge brush about this.
They're going to be drawing eyes next episode. So you guys know I will have a lot to say. Great time for an ad for your book. Guys, my books come in tomorrow. I got a call from FedEx saying that, what's a good time to deliver them? And I can't believe it. For those that don't know, let me do some shilling for a moment. I spent the past like 4+ years painting eyes because I wanted to better my skill, and I turned that eye project into a book. So this book includes the first 1 through 100 eyes. It's a hardcover book. You guys can still get it. It is still available on Indiegogo. The link is pinned in the chat. It's also in the description. But you see, there's me. And here's eye 1 to eye 100. I painted all of these. And let me actually, I have my sample book, but I get the real things in tomorrow. So this is the sample book that I was sent. I painted this between 2021 and 2022. Oh, dear Lord. And so book 1 is on its way to my house. It will be here at my house tomorrow morning. I cannot believe it. That's like insane. And I am so happy with the way that the sample came out. I'm so excited to see what's going on with those shorts. It's a skirt. It is a skirt for those that are interested in my outfit. I want you to know I must have tried on 8 different outfits and did my silly poses of me with my brush. This photo is actually in the book. So it's right there. And now in hindsight, I kind of think I should have put it at the end of the book and not the beginning, this is it should have been like right there on the last page, but it's okay. It's right there. It's fine. Hindsight's 2020, right? But I'm so happy with it. I love this unboxing stream. Maybe if my baby's asleep. We'll see, but I'm actually, you know what? I'll be I have my live stream tomorrow on my main channel I could do it on. I guess I could do like a first unboxing here. Anyways. But yeah, so this book is still available on Indiegogo. I vastly underestimated how expensive it was to make hardcover books. So this book will never be this price again. Never, ever, 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 ever. So if you guys want to get it, don't wait for it to go up on my Etsy. Buy it here because I can't ever charge this low for a hardcover book again, even if it is small. Look at my first original designs. Gosh, it's crazy to think that it was that long ago that I painted these ones. I need to get back into painting my eyes because I decided I'm going to go to the full 300. I completed the 200, but I had so many people that volunteered last minute and I ended up with over 200. So I need to make it an even 300. So anyways, guys, going back this, if you guys haven't, I would appreciate it. But yeah, it's funny. Next week they're going to be drawing eyes. Let me get a good where's the shot of that?
Before our artists face elimination. Next time on The Outstanding Artist.
Show them
the
drawing.
artists face their
There. I can't believe they're gonna be drawing eyes. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. What are the chances of that? Well, I will have a lot to say next week then. So they're gonna do elimination. We got the really cringy, awkward cheating thing going on. They said that there was another girl that was technically like didn't follow the rules. So I need to I need to go back and figure out who that is. If you guys are interested, what you can do. Oh my gosh, yes, this one. There we go. Come on, show me the So this let's see if you go I think it's live because it's a live stream. It's this one. So if you guys go and watch this one, they talk about it. So it's the 3 judges and they discuss the cheating. So if you guys are interested in that. But anyways, everyone, that is the conclusion to this episode. I think it was fun at times, but also very cringy. That was like I was physically uncomfortable at certain parts of it. Obviously, the whole confrontation that was very, very, very uncomfortable, but it is what it is, I guess. We got through it. They advertised that for I don't know what 2 or 3 episodes, and we finally got a conclusion. In my opinion, it was anticlimactic and cringy. Like I almost wish like nobody brought that up so I wouldn't have had to sit through that because that was so uncomfortable. And you know what's worse is that they cut stuff out. So I'm just like, "Oh my god." Because at one point her hair is down, then all of a sudden her hair's up. So it's like they cut stuff out. So there was more of a discussion, but I'm glad that we were not privy to that struggle session because that just what I did see was uncomfortable. Um, let's see. If someone isn't following the rules, they should say something immediately. It might just be a mistake. True. True. But I mean, you know what I was thinking about is how she said, like, she hopes that she doesn't win because the money wouldn't change her life. She hopes somebody else's win. That also makes me think, like, she doesn't care about the rules. Maybe care isn't the right word, but maybe, like, subconsciously she doesn't care about the rules so much. So she's like, I'm just going to try to do my best work regardless of what the rules are. But, you know, it was that was a struggle session I wish I didn't have to sit through. But anyways, guys, next week, hopefully back on Monday, hopefully I won't be as tired next week. I will be back to watch episode 6 of The Outstanding Artist with all of you guys. This has been fun. I really am glad that I get to share it with you guys and you guys get to watch this with me because if I had to watch that little cringe section on my own, I would have been very uncomfortable. So I'm glad that you guys all got to suffer through that with me. And I will be back. This will hopefully be on Monday. If I don't make it on Monday, it will be on Tuesday, like it is today. So please let me know what you thought about all of this down below in the comment section. And I appreciate all of you being here. Tomorrow, I will be back on my Star Wars channel with my regular, my regular live stream at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm debating on if I want to start early tomorrow so I can go to bed earlier, but we shall see. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Please smash that like button if you haven't already. If you guys are new and found my channel, please smash the subscribe. Thank you to everybody that's watching on the Twatters and also on Twitch. And once again, please, if you guys are watching on YouTube, stick around and leave me a quick comment. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And I will see you guys all later. Oh, yes, there is going to be a landing party episode tomorrow. It is our trivia day. So it's going to be exciting. And we're going to pick the next series that we watch. Now, I said Ron really doesn't want to do Star Trek anymore. And I'm very upset by that. The guys are refusing to watch The Next Generation. They don't want to watch Deep Space Nine. They don't want to watch Voyager. But Enterprise, for whatever reason, is on the table. So I'm like, I vote for Enterprise. They don't want to do we also talked about like doing Outer Limits or the Twilight Zone. I love the Twilight Zone. I would be down, but I guess there's something about not wanting to do as many seasons, like finding shorter shows. So I recommended, why don't we do the original Battlestar Galactica? Because that's one season. And also, I was like, what about V? That's also one season and it could be fun. Nails, a good thank you. This one actually is glued onto my skin because I ripped this nail off last week and I couldn't stand having that band aid on. So I'm tolerating it. I might have to take it off. But, anyways, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. It's been a wonderful day and wonderful stream with you guys all. Please, once again, stick around, leave me a comment. And until next time, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.